Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Edwards Nightshow. Our last episode, finally! Though I have to admit it went far better than last year. Agreed. Now then, I'm sure some of you are disappointed that this season has already come to a close. But never worry, as I said in the last episode, though the Halloween episodes are over, we still have the Christmas episode at the end of the year. Speaking of which, that goes well into our story for tonight. Which is... tonight's story is It Wasn't a Reindeer. You know, this seems like a rather fitting story for the end of our season, since after Halloween it goes into Christmas. I know, shame that this year's come and gone so quickly. I know, can't believe it has. Christ, I muttered to myself as the first flakes of snow started to fall. They gathered in fuzzy clumps over the windshield before my wipers cleared them away. I've been waiting for 20 minutes now, in my sister's driveway. Had I chosen to wait inside with her, I'd have been dead by now thanks to her 2 gray cats. Cute little devils, but murder to my sinuses. Puffy eyes and clogged up throat, that's just what I need. Every Christmas, our family made the annual trip to my grandparents' cabin tucked away in the woods of Hope, Alaska. Oh, good Alaska. We all love Alaska. It's cold, barren, away from civilization. Perfect place to die. Perfect place to have a horror story. And I'd hoped to beat the heavy snowfall that was forecast, since my sister's license was suspended from a DUI, and here I was, a hostage to time, with my fingers tapping anxiously on the steering wheel. When my mother had asked me to be the one to grab my sister, I honestly dreaded it from the start. It wasn't that we hated one another, we just weren't as close anymore. After decades of constant arguments and bitter disagreements, we became distant and our relationship fizzled. Yes, we were siblings, but it felt more accurate to call us Resude? Sure. Yeah, that seems right. Of what siblings once were. Finally, like the gates of Valhalla, her front door opened, and out she came. Her hair was forest green. Last time I had seen her, it had been white. The time before that, violet. Got everything I asked as she clambered her way into the passenger seat. She responded as she adjusted her glasses and stuffed a few bags in the back seat. And just like that, we were off. To Alaska, for some reason, because that's always a good place. Hope was about a 30-minute drive, and it didn't take long for the awkward silence to inflate between us. It didn't help that the radio didn't work in my car, and that the broken auxiliary ports made your music sound like it was having a seizure. By the time we reached the turnoff for Hope Highway, the road was turning into a thick white sheet. Thankfully, on Christmas Eve night, the long stretch to Hope's small community was quick and vacant. The cabin was tucked away in the forest of trees 5 miles off the main road. As I made the turn, my sister cracked the window and pulled out a blunt, and lit it with her lighter. "Want a hit?" she asked. Snow crunched beneath us, not while I'm driving. It's a straight path. We're practically there already. She took a drag and blew it out the window. "I want to focus on just this, all right?" She huffed and pushed her glasses. "If you're that worried, maybe slow down a bit then." There was the jab. A piece of bait to lure me into another fight. But I wasn't going to bite. Not this time. She could live with us getting there faster. The drive was almost over, and soon I'd be in a warm living room with my feet up and spiked eggnog in my hand, and Bobby Helms' Jingle Bell Rock in the air. I could already hear Uncle Jed spouting off one of his crude jokes. Why does Santa Claus have such a big... "Dude," my sister shrieked, jabbing a finger in my side. The car had just finished winding around the thick trail. The large body of a reindeer stood in the path. Eyes wide open and blank. It didn't move as the high beams found it. Snapped into a panic, I twisted the wheel in a desperate swerve. The car veered greasily to the side in a fine spray of slosh. Blech. Who writes like this? People that actually know how to speak write like this, unlike you. Yeah, touche. The reindeer, also known as a caribou, remained still, even as the bumper soared inches from its nose. We came to a crunching halt off the main path. Jesus, I sighed, blessed with relief. Did we hit it? No, my sister said, leaning out the window to check while exhaling another puff of smoke. I wound the steering wheel back around and pressed on the gas. The wheel shrilled in place, kicking up globs of sleet, but not moving an inch. Perfect, I moaned, and unfolded myself from the seat to check it out. The two front tires were caked in black slush and practically swallowed in mounds of snow. I kicked at it and tried to clear off the icy debris from the treads and beneath the wheel well. When that tired me out, I resorted to scraping it off with my fingers. Screw off, Prancy, I heard my sister call towards the dark silhouette of a reindeer, its antlers like gnarled fingers reaching from the tree tops. Okay, first of all, if you ever see a reindeer that's a dark silhouette of one, and the antlers on the thing look like gnarled fingers that are reaching for treetops, you do not talk to it. You ignore it. You do nothing with it. For once, I'm inclined to agree. If you see something that looks that deadly, you do not interact with it. Ever. Just ever. Do not. Then she made a startled yip followed by what the fuck. I looked up from the skim of snow. The reindeer was standing tall on both of its hind legs. It looked strange, like a silly caricature you'd see in a kid's book. But out there, in the silence of the woods, it was a creepy image. The way its vague shape stood on just two legs held an almost human-like balance. For whatever reason, I realized then it didn't have a tail. Its muscular neck craned to the side and let out an alternating? I can't quite tell. You beats me. Something to do with very loud and non-good sounding. Yeah, something to that degree, just a condensed version of that word. A literal squeal of metal grinding against metal. My legs were ice sculptures, cementing me to the spot as the shriek quieted to a succession of wet grunts. The reindeer dropped down to its original posture and stomped heavily. Puffs of white vapor and strings of snot vented from its nostrils. I was no hunter, but it didn't take long to tell when a pissed-off animal was about to charge. I leaped for the driver's seat, pulled the door open, and slammed it shut just as the muffled thud of the hooves reached me. Antlers scraped the door as its large body practically flew over the patch I had just been standing in, fast, very fast. My sister screamed as the large bulk of its frame wound back around and charged again, this time shattering the headlights and submerging us in darkness. Just go already, my sister harled in my ear. I'm trying to, goddammit, I hissed. The wheels continued to spin helplessly. We were trapped. The creature charged again, this time nailing the window. A cobweb of cracks bloomed near my sister's head. I searched for anything, literally anything that I could use as a weapon. I was never really a gun enthusiast, but at that moment I have shaved my head and joined the scholar monks if it meant having a clock in my hand right then and there. You know, if it's a being that has stood up on its hind legs and let out a giant shriek, I don't think a gun's gonna save you. I'd say you need more of a priest and some holy water if you want any sort of hope to, save yourself. After rattling the car once more, the reindeer finally appeared to lose interest, disappeared amongst the cluster of trees. Granted, some time to breathe and think. We phoned our dad and told him about the situation. He was going to come down in his pickup and get us unstuck out of this mess. I looked over at my sister, who was taking long and steady breaths between her fingers. Are you alright? I asked. What do you think? She grumbled. I told you to slow down. Another jab, and this time I wasn't going to have it. You want to be useful? I yelled. Get out there and push. No? Then shut the hell up. I don't need it right now. She said nothing else, neither did I, returning once again to the pocket of silence that our relationship succumbed to. The sooner Dad's headlights peeked in the distance, the better. Suddenly, she rolled her window down. "What are you doing?" I asked. "Shh." She pushed her lips. "Just listen." Humoring her, I waited, and sure enough, the sound reached me too. The quiet voice of a little girl coming from outside. "So, you all just got more or less almost killed by a demon deer. And you hear the sound of a little girl from outside. That girl is either dead or a ghost. There is no reason to pay it any mind than you just sit in the car and you wait." Somebody, it whimpered. "I'm lost. Please help me, I'm lost." "And if it says that, you stay even more. It is not worth it. They are already dead. They are already speaking. That deer is going to come back and kill them." "Well, wouldn't you want to help them?" "No. If I was in their situation, I just got hit by a deer in my car and about died. They're on their own." My sister unlocked the door and motioned to open it. I grabbed her wrist. "What are you doing?" she snapped. "There's someone out there." "Just wait a second. It's weird, isn't it?" The voice continued to whine, choking between sobs and pleading for someone, anyone to help her. I didn't like the way it sounded. The same lasting drawl between words, the same weeping sounds, like someone was hitting repeat on a speaker. Something wasn't right, and my instincts were hosting red flags left and right. Then my sister looked at me, and her expression warped into shock. She flung back, pinning both her shoulders against the interior. Things that sounded like words bubbled up, but didn't quite make it out of her throat. I turned and saw what was looking at me. It had the face of a human, surrounded by the molten fur of a caribou's body. The skin was a muffled brown color, wound tightly around its long skull like old, wrinkled leather. Snowflakes landed upon its wide, expressionless eyes, melted into the dark membranes of its pupils. It circled the car, bobbing its antlers and fogging up the windows as it peered inside. My heart shook the walls of my throat. I locked eyes with my sister, unable to say anything behind the sheer disbelief. I should have grabbed my phone, snapped a photo, recorded a video, anything, but my thoughts were jumbled. I let out the same horrible scream, but I didn't see its tight, contorted lips open. The sound was coming from its neck. Small, fleshy orifices flapping open like mouths were converting the high-pitched shrills into the mimic cry of a little girl. "Help, I'm lost, help me." Headlights glazed the area. My father's pickup came into view, paving its way down the path. The reindeer, or whatever the fuck it was, ran off, vanishing once again into the snow-covered thicket. Nobody believed us. Why would they? If anybody had told me that story, I would have assumed they were hoped up on some crazy psychedelic. But the reality of what I saw was cold. And it's something I still to this day can't fully swallow. Instead of sleeping that night, my sister and I did some research that led us to the myth of skinwalkers. Beings of some sort capable of mimicking voices and disguising themselves as animals to lure people into the woods. After reading other accounts, there wasn't a doubt in my mind what we witnessed out there. Ever so often, that night, I'd stare out the window and eye the yard, wondering if I'd see the leathery face watching us from the tree line. Neither I nor my sister ever made that trip again, much to the frustration of the family, but there was a silver lining. She and I had never been more close. Well, that's just a fine, tiddly, happy ending. You and your sister get all together, and you don't die by the deer. They almost died, but they didn't. Bless everything, they didn't die, or something like that. I swear. Good story, though, I have to say. Very good indeed. Now then, for our final interview of the season. It is... Don't leave the audience in too much suspense. I know you like doing that, but not at the end of the season. Yes, I know, I just can't find it. What do you mean you can't find it? I mean, I can't find it. It's not on the paper. Go check my other cabinet and see if I got the wrong paper out somehow. Fine. Well, it's not in here, Ed. Here we are. Ed? Ed? Ed! What on earth are you screaming about? And where's Edward? I don't know. I went to go retrieve the paper, and I came back, and he was gone. Fantastic.
Now we go live to every family's favorite endless slide. It's the Backrooms Holiday Special. Your gift is nothing flashy, just a camera battery and VHS tapes. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, there's plenty of language.
Where am I? Oh, hey, look, an actual camera. Is it working? Well, the red light's on at least. Let's see here. Alright, there we are. Still working. Let's see here. That's recording. That's fine. There we are. Okay, so part of them said that was that way. Part of them said it was this way. Do you have any clue which way they went? Any idea? Any at all? Okay. This isn't the worst scenario. We've been lost before. Great. They went that way. I'm gonna head this way. We'll double back just in case.
Hey guys, I think the exit's this way. Guys, this isn't funny. Where'd you go? Guys? What was that? I don't like this.
What a strange set of people. I mean, it kind of reminds me of everyone back at the manor. Speaking of which, how in anything do I get out of here? Okay, that really needs to stop happening. Well, this place looks somewhat accurate to the mansion I came from. It's not exact, but it's close. Alright, let's just set you there. There we go. That's not the point. How the hell did I get here from there? So how do I get back? How did I even get here to begin with? Okay, don't panic. There's no reason to panic. We just need to figure our way out before anything else goes horribly wrong. Edward?
Have you seen the well-to-do up on Lennox Avenue, on that famous thoroughfare, with their noses in the air, high hats and arrow collars, white spats and $15, spending every dime for a wonderful time.
'Twas the night of Hallows Eve, and all through the manor, not a ghoul was scaring, not even a black cat. When out on the lawn they heard such a commotion. The cast and crew sprung from the floorboards to see what was the matter. And through the windows they saw ghouls, demons, and monsters. My, what a fright. as the creatures waved goodbye on this cold autumn night. The moon shined its light as the night became true, and whispers filled the air and sung through the trees. Happy Hallows Eve to all, and to all a good fright.